Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Grown Mannerisms, being fluid with the currents of life. I'm John,
I'm Giovanna, also known as Vonnie.
and today we're going to take a topic out of the news. Now, it's probably going to be, by the time it gets released, this topic will probably be a few weeks old or so. But it's a conversation near and dear to my heart. Because I grew up, my favorite cartoon was Looney Tunes. I love Looney Tunes. That's like my favorite cartoon of all time. So recently, Space Jams 2 is about to be released, and they kind of canceled Pepe Lepew because of, I don't even know how to phrase it because I don't even know exactly what they said. It's just, I think, predatory behavior because the way he pursued Penelope, which is, like I said, funny to me because ironically, like in the past, I've actually had my child's mother phone number saved in my phone in the beginning as Penelope because she wasn't trying to give me no no attention. So I was like, yo, I'm like Pepe Le Pew. I'm a hop after her, my little flower. You know what I'm saying? So I had her phone, I had her number saved in my phone as Penelope because I was like, so the fact that he's being canceled, I don't know how I feel about cartoons being canceled, and I know you love Pepe too, and love Looney Tunes as well.
Yeah.
But it's about the more general scope. He's just the focal point.
Yeah.
I guess I'll before I say what I think, I just want to ask someone outside of myself: has a cartoon ever influenced the way that you see the world, that you move about the world, or how you interact with someone?
Not at all, because cartoons are inanimate objects created by people. So, and you know what? You know what I was thinking?
What?
I think we have different minds. Because I never thought anything of it. Granted, I am not for predatory men coming after women hard that make it clear that they do not want to be with them.
Right.
But growing up, all I just thought was, haha, look, he's trying to get her, she don't want him, haha. That was the total beginning and end of my thoughts about Pepe Le Pew. Haha, he's a skunk, he don't know that she's a cat.
But that's the joke, though. The joke is that he thinks at every episode something happens where she gets a white stripe on her back, and now he thinks. So it's not like he thinks it's another skunk. First of all, and I know it sounds dumb for us breaking down the cartoon, but this is like. But the point of the matter is that it's like you said, it's an inanimate object. It's a cartoon. One. So I got 2 points with this. One, if there's a problem with a cartoon, you can rewrite it. It's a cartoon. You can change the bio of the character. You can change the character and whatever. You can rewrite the whole storyline of the character.
Why couldn't we make him into a feminist? Like reform. We did with this cancel culture is saying like when somebody makes a mistake, cut them off completely.
And in this case, it's not even a somebody. It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon.
Drawing.
And then on top of that, they're animals. They're not even cartoon humans. And in Animal Kingdom,
I'm so glad you said that. Like I didn't even think about that. Like as soon as you said, I'm like, yeah, like
animals. If you look at any National Geographic, the males of a species.
He's like, I want you. Come here, girl.
And then they try to do they do all these mating rituals. They'll start dancing. Peacocks start flutting. Fluttering. Like snakes might fight each other for it. Like
the rams with the fight with the rams. Oh my goodness.
Every animal does some type of mating ritual to attract the opposite sex. Yeah. So not only can you rewrite the cartoon and change the dichotomy of his character. One. Two, it's consistent with what animals actually do in the wild. So if we're not canceling National Geographic, then why are we canceling Pepe?
Right.
And then 3, Pepe Le Pew is such a minute character in the sense of I've never heard no kid outside of our generation even know who Pepe Le Pew is.
Mm-hmm.
So you bringing more attention to him by canceling for something that people like, who?
Uh-huh.
I saw a lot of kids like, who?
Mm-hmm.
What? A skunk? Mm-hmm. Nobody even talk about Looney Tunes anymore, period.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, I guess because it was going to be in the Space Jam movie, that's why it was relevant, because he did something in the movie that they wanted to remove.
Do you remember when the black paint spilled on? Yeah. Do you remember when the black paint spilled on him, and then Penelope ran after him in the same exact way? You remember that?
I was going to bring that up, and like, so, you know, it's funny, but it's also just how quick we are to find offense. If you want to find offense in something, you can find offense in anything.
That's why I say our minds are different. We didn't even like.
But if you think about it as well, I made a Facebook post about it. Like, Elmer Fudd shot Bugs Bunny to eat him. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're PETA. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why we ain't canceling? We could cancel any cartoon for that matter. Mm-hmm. And then the another thing about it is, I never saw him actually get her.
He never got her.
So actually, if you want to look at it, the moral or theme of the show is that this behavior doesn't get you the girl.
Right.
It's
only the stanky men that are trying to do things like that. It's only the skunky men out there, and they still not getting the girl.
Yes. Another thing is that I've never had a cartoon change the way I view the world either. However, I relate to the cartoons because they already inadvertently have something in them that I identify with. Mm-hmm. With cartoons, I like Rebels. Mm-hmm. So, like, when I watched X-Men, Gambit was my favorite. Mm-hmm. Like, because he was kind of like the rebel of the crew. Mm-hmm. I always liked Peter Pan because he didn't want to grow up. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, Robin Hood because he was an outlaw. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I'm only influenced by the characters that's already how I am. Mm-hmm. Because if the characters don't relate to me in no type of way, I'm not identifying with them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to, you know, cartoons, quote unquote, influencing our behavior, cartoons only influence what's already in you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Cartoons don't put the things in you, or at least in my opinion. Mm-hmm. You know, especially these type of cartoons. I mean, there is cartoons that depict real life situations, but not animations, what we call, you know, y'all know the type of cartoons we talking about, like the animated cartoons. Like if it's something like South Park, because remember, like when we were kids, they canceled Beavis and Butthead supposedly because the Columbine situation happened, they said that they try to find a reason for that type of behavior. So then when they dissected the person's life, they listened to this type of music and they watched this. This was their favorite TV show. So this TV show must have done it. Yeah. And this type of music must have done it. Yeah. But if I watched Beavis and Butthead 1,000,000 times and thought it was hilarious, I ain't go to school and stab somebody in the eye with a pencil because Beavis and Butthead did it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's a certain age where accountability comes in at. Yeah. Also, that's where parenting comes in at. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like,
we watched that stuff and it had no effect. And then, I understand why, if I was like in a governmental position of power where I would, make that connection. Yeah. But if you're crazy, you're crazy. So, so if it wasn't that, it was going to be something else. Maybe remember when they tried to cancel Cookie Monster. You remember that?
Because the kids was supposed to be always wanting to eat snacks. So it's like, make Cookie Monster eat like a vegetable or something. And I'm like, what you gonna make him, Broccoli Monster? Mm-hmm. Like, and to that point, Onyx watches Sesame Street all the time. Mm-hmm. Abby, she loves Abby and Elmo, and Abby is always like, broccoli, eat it. And you think if I stick broccoli in front of Onyx, she eat it? She like, nah, that's for Abby. I ain't eating it. Pass me the cookie.
I was a full-grown adult before I realized that he was just making crumbs and spilling the crumbs. All right, well, I wish I had a cracker. He'd be like, nom, 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 and then it would just break apart and fall on the floor.
Oh, yeah. He wasn't actually eating the cookie.
I was a full-grown adult before I realized what was going on there.
Oh, he's also a Muppet.
Yeah.
So he can't eat that.
He doesn't have a throat.
He can't swallow the
Yeah.
cookie. So I don't think he could eat. I don't think they had the technology back then
Right.
to actually make him eat the cookie.
Yeah.
So they had to.
Yeah. But we had different minds. I didn't even, like, as a child, like, your brain glosses over, like, reality sometimes. You know, like, we didn't consider, like, where's that food going? You know, I guess some brainiac kids did, but for most of us, we didn't care.
You know, I just wish cancel culture came with redemption culture as well.
Redemption culture.
Because
Redemption culture.
cancel culture and correction culture.
Correction culture.
Because I think that as soon as none of us have lived clean lives. Now, granted, the people that post things on, well, I don't have Twitter, but like for some reason, like I see things that I guess Twitter never deletes. And people I don't know who these people, man, shout out to y'all, those people that, whoever you are that have the time on your hand to find a 2007 tweet, tweeting wasn't out back then. Whenever y'all finding these tweets from celebrities, Kevin Hart.
That's a lot of reading.
Bro, we need y'all in the CIA, or the FBI. Like, y'all need to be in somebody's, y'all need to be tracking down Al Qaeda, ISIS, Taliban. Y'all, that's where y'all need it at, because y'all are some code cracking, information finding Inspector Gadget, which is another cartoon, and for those new generation people that y'all don't know. Inspector Gadget and Scooby-Doo mystery solving type of people. Y'all, that's where y'all efforts are needed, because my problem with cancel culture, it doesn't come, like I said, it doesn't come with correction. It's like, you know, some violations do require, like at this point you just need to be gone. Like, you know, for instance, R. Kelly. Like, we knew, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When that thing first got exposed, when we was kids, teenagers, that was back then, and everybody just kind of kept listening to R. Kelly, R. Kelly. So it's kind of like at some point it's like, all right, you canceled because there's no correction. But when it comes to cartoons, they can always be rewritten.
Right. Unless
it's being offensive.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Like, we're not
like
negating that.
We both love South Park, but sometimes, you know.
Well, let's even go Looney Tunes, since we did Pepe. You know, like, they did things that were offensive to Native Americans. They did things that were offensive to African Americans. And that's not saying, you know, oh, just take it because it was a cartoon, it's old, get over it. You know, those things were hurtful. You know, a consistent behavior where it's showing you, like, this is who this person is, this is how they think, this is how they continue to think for decades, you know, then let's act, you know. Like, even...
Because even in that, like, you know, with the Disney cartoons, they have some of them, even my favorite cartoon, which is Peter Pan. It has the what's it called? The disclaimer.
Yeah.
In the beginning, as this has outdated cultural references. And, you know, racism is never excusable. Discriminatory depictions and discriminatory conversations can not reflect someone's views, but reflect societal's acceptance. So, for instance, when we was growing up, or just think about, you can't say the word nigga on TV now. Not on network TV. But if you watch episodes of Sanford and Son, he say it and even on Good Times, they say it because at that time it was okay to say it on TV.
Yeah.
So we can't take today's lens and magnify it back to the past and say, oh, because just think about when we were growing up, the certain things that it was acceptable to say about the now LGBTQ community. But when we were growing up, people use certain words in everyday language, in songs, on TV, even like in Living Color, like David Allen Greer and Damon Wayans wouldn't get away with that skit. You know, the movie critics. I forgot.
2 thumbs up, a twist, and a kiss.
Yeah. But you can't take that as Damon Wayans and David Allen Greer's view at that time, because, like I said, at that time it was comedy. Whether it may have still been offensive, but what I'm saying is that, you know, we can't take today's lens and magnify it to the past and say, you know, unless there has been consistent behavioral things. Like I said, social acceptance around things, we need to be checked on it. The age that we're in, the times that we're in, as far as woman empowerment and checking a lot of language and predatory behavior, to speak to, you know, Pepe Le Pew, like the reason why it's up is because of the protection we're trying to place around certain conversations around women and the entitlement that men have in our attention seeking from women or feeling entitled to a woman's attention and affection, I should say, which is definitely something that should be the highest of priorities. But we need to apply it to the correct situations. I think that changing Pepe Le Pew would actually be, or any cartoon. He's the catalyst for this conversation, but this is applicable to anything in cancel culture in general. Is, you know, when we come from a place of condemnation, we also need to come from an aspect of correction. You know what I'm saying? And that is the key, because when you cut someone off for their views and ostracize them and isolate them, all they do is stew in their thoughts. And that's what we shouldn't do, is allow people to fester. They should be forced to face people. You don't just kick them. 'Cause me, personally, if I got an enemy, if that's what I'm just saying, like, if I consider somebody an enemy, I don't want to not see them. I want to know what they're doing. I want to see what's going on over there. I gotta keep my eye on you.
Keep your enemies closer.
Right. I want to know. I might pop up in your neighborhood every once in a while. See how many times a week you go into the grocery store, what you buying, who going in and out your house, because I need to know if you plotting. And these rehearsed apologies from people, it's always the same. I'm going to do more education. I didn't understand what this meant, but now that I know, I'm going to talk to the right people and find out what I did that was wrong, which may be true, but like, tell it from the heart. Like, don't tell me from a piece of paper. Like, what you said was off the cuff and from the heart. So let the apology or the correction be off the cuff and from the heart, not some you got with some people and it's like, all right, how should I say this and what should I say? You know what I'm saying?
That's because if you haven't really changed your mind, it's going to come out.
That's what I'm saying.
The insincerity is going to come out, or the blame game is going to appear. So that's probably why they do it.
We have to be accepted and understanding that everybody has the right to feel how they feel, as long as what you feel doesn't impugn, disrespect, or belittle someone else.
And let me, in case I was being offensive when I said if people are crazy, I didn't mean mental illness. I mean, I guess I said it in the context of... I'm just saying it because people.
Yeah, no, you said, what you said, I think your intention was clear in that, but that was a good correction, because we know that's just an epitaph. That's not a literal crazy.
Sometimes I guess you do need cancel culture, but the way we're using it, we're just kind of throwing it around and saying that people are not allowed to make mistakes. So I like your redemption culture of being like, hey, did you know that was extremely offensive? Did you know that that thought mentality is hurting people on a regular basis? Are you going to do something to fix that? And give people their chance to understand what they did wrong and to make it right. Not in a phony way that some people do, where some people, they got caught and they're upset that they got caught and they have no intentions whatsoever on changing their mind. And then how can you gauge that somebody has changed their mind?
Certain things that I do feel like we needed to get out of our community, out of the social norms, but then there's other things that I feel like unfairly have been, docked, and maybe those things probably should have had a little bit more conversation around it before it was just excommunicated, and then other people have been excommunicated for agreeing or liking or supporting something. Being pro one thing doesn't mean you're anti another thing. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Like, just because you support something, that one thing, doesn't mean you're against something else. But that's it. I didn't think I was gonna get that deep, but that took me somewhere. But anyway, this has been Grown Mannerisms Being Fluid with the Currents of Life. I'm John.
I'm Giovanna.
Thanks for tuning in again, and we'll see you guys next time.